I'm Carrie Benedette, and this is my podcast. I'm an education consultant specialising in emotional intelligence. I'm known for my high energy, passion and compassion for those in need of help. And I like to shine a spotlight on what we can do. My mantra in life has been, let's give it a red hot shot. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Thriving Matters podcast. And you are going to absolutely love Linda Fisk, who is our guest. So, Linda, you are very welcome. How are you?
Thank you, Carrie, so much. It is so exciting to be here with you. And thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your inspirational platform. You've had some amazing leaders on your program, and I am very excited to be among them.
Oh, you know what? I believe in ordinary guys and gals who are doing extraordinary things in life and work. And, you know, when we do that and we say it, it sounds so glamorous and it looks like you do it overnight. But you know what? It takes hard work. It takes consistency. It's not easy every day to get out of bed or do what you do. So thriving is really important to me, and how we can flip the switch on ourselves, I think, is often a lifelong process.
I agree, Carrie. Thank you so much for making that point that oftentimes people look at extraordinary leaders all over the world and say, well, they came from nowhere, or maybe it's just luck, or maybe it's just their great idea, or maybe they have some sort of level of charisma or advantage or opportunities that I didn't have. But oftentimes when you look at the backstory of these extraordinary leaders, what you learn is that they were hard at work day after day, putting just one foot in front of another until they were able to achieve a level of success that everyone now knows about.
Well, you are so right. And this year across the world, we've got the most number of elections ever to be held. And I'm talking political elections, of course. But the leaders that we talk to are political in their own way, but they're also strategic. But one of the crucial things that we're going to talk about today, listeners, is this notion of where well-being and leadership fit together. Because I think there's a direct link, and we may not have named it until post-COVID. So, Linda, that's what we're going to do today. But listeners, you need to know that Linda is the chairperson of LeadHERship Global. Now, look it up, because how you spell LeadHERship Global, the her, H-E-R, is in capital letters. I tell you what, it's a clever way to market yourself, but also to bring prominence to the role that women are crucial to, I believe, in the last 5 to 10 years. We are crucial to how humanity is going to look and how leadership is going to look. So, Linda, tell us a little bit about how you got to do what you do, a little bit about you.
Well, thank you so much. I will say that my role as the chairman of LeadHERship Global is absolutely a privilege and an honor. I have the opportunity to help guide and direct an incredibly impactful community of extraordinary women in leadership all around the globe. And LeadHERship Global's comprehensive methodology is really designed to help those women unleash their full potential. These are high-performing, growth-oriented leaders, and they're able to receive unbiased, objective guidance and advice and insight in this confidential, supportive, and private community. And it is an honor. It's really a privilege to be among such inspirational leaders. And I tell you, every single day, I see women collaborating together, creating joint ventures and partnerships, creating lifelong friendships, and really choosing to be surrounded by people that are deeply invested in their success. And I have to tell you, that is the key. You want to be inspired and motivated by other women leaders who will cheer you on, who will provide good counsel to you, who will support you to greater and greater levels of success and impact. And that's what we've created in the community of LeadHERship Global. So I feel very, very lucky, very, very privileged, and very honored to be in a community of such extraordinary women.
Well, what we all say, surround yourself with those you know who are going to champion you, but also challenge you. And the championing is really important, but I think also ways that you can learn how to think differently. And everyone says, oh, look, this is an instant thing, but we know, and I love what you just do with your hands there, the small steps that we take are critical. When I first started doing what I do, COVID had hit and I basically had no employment. So I decided to start the podcast, and I just went around the world every day. And I talked to people around the world. And I have to say, when you're confronted with something, you look to the solutions or what you can do, not what you can't do. And I believe that's part of the essence of thriving. What can I do with that? And you would see amongst your community that life isn't easy for everybody. There have been insurmountable challenges, changes in life, whether it's health, economy, family, whatever it is. And so you would have a front row seat that's privileged to how people do manage.
That's right. And some of the most inspirational leaders that I've had the great privilege of getting to know intimately in LeadHERship Global have faced some of the most daunting challenges, some of the most really critical personal and professional crises that have allowed them to kind of pause, reflect, and then decide on the path forward. And LeadHERship Global is really designed to help create personal and professional breakthroughs, especially when women feel stuck, when they feel like they've hit a roadblock or an obstacle or a setback. And our job, I think, is to guide women to achieve greater and greater leverage and freedom in their careers, in their business. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't experience crises, that they don't experience failure, that they don't experience setbacks and obstacles and roadblocks. They do, they definitely do. But the difference between someone who takes that experience and turns it into an accelerator for success and another person who just stops in their tracks and feels stymied and feels stuck and they're not able to regroup and move forward, is the fact that we have a community of world-class women, thought leaders and experts who are, as you said, challenging them, collaborating with them, and supporting them. So we want women to feel supported, to feel cared for, to feel valued, especially in those really tough times in life. Because listen, as a leader, you are facing incredible challenges every single day. And I think impactful leadership is about making long-lasting, positive, and meaningful contributions to organizations and communities, and honestly, in the lives of people. That is not easy work. It means that you have to combine both your mind and your heart to lead and to achieve sustainable goals that build lasting impact. Listen, if you want to create lasting impact by genuinely and generously influencing people to believe you, trust you, join you in your mission, this is going to take every single bit of your stamina, your strength, your vision, and your, emotional intelligence every single day.
Well, it's a world now where, because of technology, we can instantly say, "Good morning, Linda, how are you?" or "Good evening, good afternoon," within seconds. It's just amazing. It's actually been an enabler for us to have these expanded networks. And I'd have to say the last 5 years, the networks that I have been able to access, make, utilize for business, but also for just human relationships, has been phenomenal. So, we're living in a time where, yes, we're surrounded by technology. There's a lot of comment around technology. There's a lot of people withdrawing from it, saying, no, this is not for me. But there are others who aren't afraid to find out and use it to best ability. And it gives us these connections. So I've just jumped off a call from America with a very large not-for-profit organisation who provides basically professional learning and learning for students all across the globe. They've been celebrating their 30-year anniversary this year. It's the Centre for Interactive Learning, and we've featured them in our magazine this year as a way to say, this is phenomenal. You've gone for 30 years. You've built this incredible platform so people, no matter what their economic situation, can jump on and learn.
Wow.
With each other from providers, from Cisco to some of your museums, a whole lot of virtual learning platforms have all joining together. This massive opportunity. And we think it's one of the best examples of a learning platform that's global and that really is looking at sustainability and offering the opportunity for anyone, no matter where you are, to learn. I just think it's
I love that.
wonderful.
And I will
Yeah.
just tell you that again, like you, Carrie, some of the most inspirational leaders are lifetime learners, right? And I feel like especially women are really open to embracing learning, especially right now. You can't be in
Yes.
leadership and believe that you know everything there is to know about leading a increasingly complicated world. AI alone offers incredible new sources of inspiration and learning. And I will tell you, as women, we lead in high stakes situations, complicated situations, situations that respond to creative solutions. And I tell you, as women, I think we need to recognize and apply those strengths to everyday leadership challenges like lifetime learning. So women really can shape the corporate environment. They can continue to thrive. But I think one of the very first steps in being able to do that is to recognize we're all on an individual learning
Yes.
sort of journey, right? And some of the most important qualities, I feel like, of a really strong leader is that you serve with your mind and your heart. You incorporate an attitude of service. You genuinely want to connect with people in your life. You want to earn their loyalty. You want to be generous and participate. You want to share your knowledge generously with those you lead, being a role model to inspire and motivate other people to move forward. But what that necessitates is your own learning. You have to be willing to not only share your knowledge generously, but constantly invest in your own learning, right? So I will tell you, women have been proven to hold a key advantage in many soft skills. In fact, a study by the Hay Group found that women outperform men in 11 out of 12 key emotional intelligence competencies. And one of the most important emotional intelligence competencies is being open to learning, being humble enough to recognize that you may not always have all the right answers, and being able to turn to learning platforms, which are ubiquitous now, being able to turn to your own personal board of advisors, being able to turn to mentors and coaches and really ask them the best way to handle a particular situation, being humble enough to recognize that you may not have all the perspectives or vantage points that you need in order to make the right decision.
Well, it's managing the emotional responses that you have to things that perhaps you've taken for granted or you have always focused on in your family of origin. But as we age, as we become age rich, I'd like to just add that, age rich.
I love that, Carrie.
We're really testing out our values, beliefs, and assumptions. And I think women more than at the moment, women are really into that, particularly when we've had a pandemic, particularly when we've got a very unsettled world at the moment in history, but also with the evolution of society, the way families, relationships, the things that truly are of essence, our health and our families, they really are the true essence. But how we treat each other is the crunch. And I believe the way we look at relationships, the way we foster them, the way we learn about them, what we need to know about each other and working together is crucial to our future. So they're all part of how we thrive.
I love that. I agree. You know, we talked about the fact that women outperform men generally in these soft skills. And I will tell you, empathy alone wins in a crisis. But the difference in leadership between the genders grows even larger in any kind of crisis. And you mentioned that we are often facing, it could be national, global, local, community crises now. And female leaders express more awareness of the fears that they're facing and their team members may be feeling. They also express more concern for their well-being and the well-being of those around them. And interestingly, women in leadership also express more confidence in their plans. And why? Because their plans are usually a consensus of all the good thinking of the people around them.
Well, Linda, we always ask our guests what it is that they do for their own thriving. And so I'm always interested. I love to learn about what somebody else has found works for them. And I think there's such a smorgasbord that we can provide ourselves with, but there would be some constants that are non-negotiables for you. So tell me, what's it like for you during the day? What do you put in place for yourself?
I really believe, Carrie, that giving back is one of the ways that I am able to fill my cup. The fulfilling feeling of giving back and contributing to others is absolutely unparalleled. To me, true meaning and purpose is about how you're able to better the lives of the people around you, your loved ones, the people in your community, or maybe the lives of people somewhere else in the world. Meaning never comes from what you get, it comes from what you give. And so for me, finding ways to give back and to make an impact in the world keeps me balanced. So even if I'm feeling a little down that maybe something hasn't manifested the way I expected, or the results weren't quite what I hoped for, knowing that I have done my level best to impact those around me, that I've been able to maybe give access to a resource, a tool, a connection, a media opportunity, a funding source that has really impacted someone else's life, is really, it's for me, it's the lifeblood of why I do what I do. And it gives me an incredible feeling of fulfillment, joy, and reward. But as you and I have talked about, I also think that throughout your leadership journey, you have to continue to learn how to better serve others and how to genuinely support their career advancement, their overall engagement at work. And so being mindful of the opportunity and the responsibility that I have to serve not only my own advancement, but those of others around me, I think keeps me humble, keeps me focused on being servant-oriented, having more of a servant heart, but also seeing the joy and fulfillment of the people that I am able to impact. And that is just remarkable.
Well, you love seeing people fly. That's the way that, you get your wings, whatever metaphor you want to use, twinkle, are we like a constellation? It doesn't matter. I like metaphor, but I get goosebumps. I actually have a visceral a reaction when something is spoken about or you hear about something that's totally incredible, but when it links to your own values and beliefs, that's when you know that you're with the right people in the right spot and continuing to do the right thing as far as, what our life contribution is. So I love the fact that you've just hit on this notion of self-responsibility. And so for self-responsibility, we have to be self-aware. So we've got to do some work on ourselves, and life throws us quite a few curveballs. In Australia, we'd say, throw the boomerang, it will come back at some point. It will come back and knock you down. But, you can get back up again. How do you get back up again? And it's looking at past experiences. It's looking at what new things I need to learn. How then do I apply that in a routine, in a daily routine? Now, you're going to think I'm a little bit funny, but we have beautiful mornings here. And before dawn, I think it's a very special time of the morning. Before dawn, I get down and I just come and listen to see how many of the birds I can hear coming in to wake up the day, with the first light, and then a nice cup of coffee, and out we go, either to the gym or a walk. That becomes my morning. It's very simple, but there's something about it when you think, right, I'm breathing, I'm here again. How can I make today the better day? How many birds are welcoming this morning? And it's as simple as that. So, there's others. Yeah.
So beautiful. And, you express a very simple experience that's really profound. And, I really believe that legacy is not bound by age or time. It really represents the body of work at every single stage of your career. So as you establish the foundational building blocks, as you said, your values, your principles, the things that really matter to you, the things that motivate you, and you accumulate the required wisdom to continue to grow and innovate, to be able to seize opportunities both inside and outside the workplace, I think your legacy grows. It grows with every single new experience, like what you just beautifully described, with each maybe previously untested idea, with each bold ideal that you're courageous enough to pursue. And every single time you inspire others to see something through to fruition, that is your legacy. That is what real leadership is about.
Well, it doesn't have to be so complicated that it falls off. It needs to be simple. And every one of us has some simple strategies that we put in place, So now I'm thinking you would get to hear and meet some, as you said, extraordinary women, right? Extraordinary girls who are have got big visions, and they're having to pace themselves to do this, or they've inherited some part of it and they're building more of it. But I'm really interested at the moment around well-being and how it affects how we lead. And so I'm wondering if you've got some insights, because for me, that goes to thriving as well, and how we go about doing it. So just some of the things that you're noticing, or some of the insights you've gained from the community that you have in LeadHERship Global, and the work that you do around, is there a link between well-being and leadership? Is it
100%. I mean, absolutely. And when you talk about well-being, you're talking about more than just physical. There's certainly physical well-being is part of it, but it's emotional well-being, it's psychological well-being, it's well-being in all aspects of your life: physical, emotional, psychological, financial, as well as physical. And the most successful leaders that really have balanced this idea of embracing well-being in all facets of their life, I think, have learned how to have an authentic communication and leadership style. They've really been able to identify, again, what is their unique blueprint? What is their unique way of operating in the world? What is their vision? What is their values, their principles that they want to emulate in every relationship? And once they've done that inventory and they're able to assess really what makes them unique, and they embrace that fully, then they're able to have an authentic communication leadership style. They're able to navigate through any form of discomfort or conflict, and even imposter syndrome, which so many women suffer from, this feeling that I don't deserve what I have, and I feel like I'm about to be found out. But, those people that give and receive actionable feedback, who set and reassert boundaries, who negotiate on behalf of themselves as well as other people, they're able to navigate through those times of maybe insecurity or discomfort or conflict with a sense of integrity, because they know who they are. And so I feel like the ability to navigate through real as well as potential conflict, to cultivate that sense of confidence, that sense of executive presence, is really a manifestation of understanding who you are and embracing wellness in all facets of your life.
That's right. Yeah. And I'm going to add spirituality into that, into our list, because more and more people are moving from a conservative or a conservative religion to a spiritual side of themselves, that includes their emotion, includes all the other facets. So we're just one whole amazing, totally unique creation, who really wants to give something out, to be able to look back and go, I did the best I could in what I was doing. I know, I love, there's so many people who are now giving us their blueprints, giving us the things that, that money can't buy, that wealth can't buy. Here are some great things to do. Bookshelves. Years ago, everyone told us that no technology is coming in, there'll be no books. Well, I would say there are more books now than ever before. How many books have you published?
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
and I love that people are so willing to share their knowledge, to share their
Yes.
inspiration, and that it is now not just those that have the right connections and the financial resources to be able to publish their books, but now through self-publishing, we're able to share our knowledge, our experience, our expertise, our life journey in a much more, I think, open way than has ever been available in our history. And again, I think that that sense of self-knowledge is so critical to be able to tell your story and to embrace wellness, to know yourself truly. And as we've talked about, I think empathy, humility, self-knowledge are just the keys to excelling in leadership. And also, it's what's needed to perform in a crisis. It's what's needed to perform when you are not fully balanced.
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head here, because often we go, well, we're not going to manage. If there's a major disaster, what do I do? What do I do? But what we've been talking about, listeners, and I hope you agree, you may not, is this notion of how we put grit and grace together.
Yes.
In being able to bring empathy to a situation to help solve the problem. And every family has it, every relationship has it, every workplace has it. Organizations have it. There's a lot of research and data literature at the moment are on psychological safety, and how people's voice is important, the opportunity for voice, the opportunity for continual learning, and opportunity to be able to step forward and be supported in learning your craft as well. But one of the things we still don't have is the number of females in top executive positions, but that's happening. There is a reverse, and we have a lot of wonderful males who are supporting the best possible leader to be in roles. And I think that's where I like to always come back to. I'm a Libran, so I could probably argue for both sides of the conversation in most things. It drives me nuts sometimes, but I've always believed in the best person, the best skill set for the job. And so, the grit and grace for me is a way of looking at it. So it's not so overwhelming, but that you've got those around you that can actually help you with decisions, particularly in crisis time.
I love that. I love that, Carrie. You're so eloquent. And I believe that, as we've talked about, being able to meet inspirational leaders, create those connections, those lifelong friendships, being surrounded by people that are invested in your success is just key. Whether you discover a new mentor, a new partner, a new employee that can take you to the next level. I think you do have to share your voice. You have to share your vision. You have to be connected to other people who will be not only inspired by what you do, but it may be really transformational for them. You don't know what impact you could have on others. It could be that your story, your voice, your impact is what they needed to change the trajectory of their future. And what a privilege. And I feel like that is happening at lightning speed now, more
Yeah.
so than ever because of technology and, platforms like Zoom, platforms
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
all the AI new innovations and all the new resources that are available to us in the digital world. I think our speed of connecting and learning and growing has never been faster.
Well, you are spot on. And to be able to harness that for good, I think that's what we're all looking for. We were looking for the best possible. You just made me think about recently I had absolute privilege to be in Asia. So a conference for the emotional intelligence group that I've belonged to, Genos International, for a long time. Then over to Sri Lanka, over to Colombo, first time. And I did some work with my colleague there. But we worked with 50 leaders from different companies there. And we did a workshop around 10xing how you can lead, how you can develop yourself to be able to lead. And it's gotten great support. But one of the things that we did do was we worked on the well-being. So the thread of well-being was through the workshop. And after lunch, you know what it's like after lunch, and you feel a little bit, it's probably time for a little bit of a siesta. The Italians and the Spanish have it right, and so my job was to make sure that we didn't have a big slump in the afternoon for the afternoon session, because you're bringing your day to a close and you want to get to the really good crunch and amp it up. So we just put the music on. And when you're in another country, you just tune into what their favorite tunes are. Everybody moves sort of in a similar way. You can shake your body anyway. So we had 50 people dancing around, laughing, conga lines, you name it, we did it. And it just brings, it's actually a real connector as well. And so when we're doing a lot of virtual work, we've all found ways to actually get up and move, get it together. But when you're face to face, which people I find now are really wanting more of, they'll use Zoom, they'll use the AI, video calls, etc., for purpose, but they still want the face-to-face. And so there's nothing better than cementing the day. And if there's something to remember from a day, you will remember something that puts you out of your comfort zone, or something that you really enjoyed, or something that you can take back and do with your own team. So that's part of my gig. I will put on the music, and that's part of one of my thriving mechanisms. I'm sure you've got them as well.
We all know how you create a focus on well-being in your own life, and how you thrive is doing a little dancing and putting on some happy music. I love that. That is wonderful.
Oh, all right. So let's we're moving into it. We're in a new era. We really are. We're part of history. We're part of making a new history. Each revolution seems to be going faster and faster with where we are, and we're here now. So if I said to you in 10 years' time, Linda, what would the leaders around the world, whether it's in politics, in government, whether it's local businesses, whether it's families, what are the true gifts and talents or skills that they will need? What do you think would come up for you instantly?
Yeah, I will tell you that I feel like even right now, there is this movement around the world to embrace leadership that is founded on trust-based relationships, trust-based communication, and what that requires to scale trust at a national or global level is authenticity and transparency. So leaders that are more authentic, more transparent, more genuine in the way they speak and their ideals, their vision, their plans, those are the leaders that will see incredible support. And I also feel that there is now less of a conversation around someone's lineage, someone's ethnicity, someone's gender, and there's much more focus on, what this leader can help us impact. So I feel like people are becoming more inclusive. They're becoming more egalitarian. They recognize the value that every single person on planet Earth has the potential to become and to offer. And I feel like, those leaders that will continue to be in positions of influence and authority are going to be those leaders that are inclusive, those leaders that are listening, those leaders that are humble and empathetic, but most importantly, really are very authentic and genuine, based on knowing who they are and knowing what the challenges require. And oftentimes I feel like the challenges that we face today are much more complicated, much more nuanced than ever before. And they require an incredible sense of empathy, humility, and great listening skills that create collaboration, that create conversation, and that allow very disparate points of view to be voiced. As you noted before, that whole idea of being able to voice what you believe and what you stand for, what your principles and values are, even if they're diametrically opposed to my own, having the ability to engage in a conversation and ask why. Why do you believe that? Why do you think that? What drives you to behave in that way? How do you prioritize those things? Leads to greater understanding. And again, those leaders that are really inclusive, that embrace conversation and partnership, who are empathetic and humble, I think will be the leaders that we'll be talking about 100 years from now.
You have just put that together so well. I think, listeners, we should all go home. What do you think? Linda solved the problems of tomorrow. No, I have people that I talk to who believe this to be the way forward. And the more and more I speak to people through the podcast or in the work that I do, basically, this is what we all want. Now, some of those skills, those collaboration skills, you really have to practice them. You have to have a foundation. The listening you mentioned is absolutely critical, but I call it the human-centered approach to leadership, because we're actually putting together our observation skills, our listening skills, the way we speak, but also the way we feel, and recognize that for ourselves and others. And it is just so critical. And in a way, I'm pretty happy to be living in this era, to see this. You can see the change happening. I also know that there are some people who just want to do their job. They don't necessarily need to know everything about everybody all the time. So we have that diverse learning style. We have the diverse and inclusive learning communities that we have, but also work communities. Our families are great examples. We, as we all do, there's different personality traits. There's different ways of enjoying what they do or not enjoying what they do. And so I think you just put that together so well. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Thank you.
And really, I think what you're talking about is constantly refining your purpose, strengthening and clarifying your purpose. And, that is where your own unique personal brand begins to shine through. That's where you get to raise your voice and share your thought leadership and become conscious of how your actions can positively influence others, right? So if you want to create the impact you wish to have and achieve the outcomes that you're aiming for, I think one of the most important first steps is, it doesn't start with raising your level of visibility. It doesn't begin with tapping into national programs or influential connections. It starts with really being clear about your purpose. It starts with refining and clarifying your purpose and what you stand for, which in my mind is your personal brand. What do you stand for? What is the foundation of the principles and practices that you are building your life on? And that, once that's fully defined and well established, then that is when you're able to see how your actions positively influence others, and you're able to tap into the true potential of your own influence.
Well, this is a great way to lead into to tell our listeners what are some of the things that are possible in LeadHERship Global for anyone who's interested in amping up. I love that word amplification, or amplify, but amping up what they're doing at the moment, because a lot of us, we set our goals, we look to the future, we're looking to basically scale. There's a lot of words here that we've got in the the vernacular around brand and marketing that are becoming quite commonplace now. But really, how do we still continue to do the best that we can possibly do? How do we still grow ourselves? And what does LeadHERship Global support for anyone who's interested?
Very much like your work, we focus on helping leaders thrive. This is all about how do you thrive, even in the face of obstacles, even in the face of opposition, even in the face of, could be some sort of personal illness or some sort of personal tragedy. How do you find the resilience to thrive despite the circumstances around you? And we really believe that we help develop the resilience and the leadership potential of women at all levels through advocacy, through education, through mentoring, through networking, through skill building, through economic empowerment all around the world. We provide exclusive programming and insightful content, as well as, proprietary tools and resources. But really, I think more than anything else, it is the community of these extraordinary women lifting each other up and deeply investing in each other's success that is the secret sauce. It's certainly, we have extraordinary executive coaches like you, Carrie. We have women-focused grants. We have incredible philanthropy. We have a variety of valuable events and opportunities and experiences. And we help women raise their visibility to really find their voice through podcasts, through speaking, through, television shows and magazines. But I tell you, what matters most are the relationships that you create through the community. It could be that one relationship that absolutely changes your trajectory from that point forward.
Oh, and that's the gold. And once again, I'm going to say, sometimes relationships are not as easy as you think. You actually have to work at them. You have to honor them. You have to work at them. You have to decide how far they're going to go, where they're going to go. But I just love the fact that there's a community that circles, and the support is there. And I listen to all the different areas of LeadHERship Global, and you've covered a number of areas. It's like this incredible mastermind that's there for the taking, right? That's there for your contribution as well as your learning. And I think that's it. What you will get back is what you put in.
Leaders like you accessible to women all over the world. I mean, the work you do, Carrie, is so incredibly impactful, and providing access to incredible leaders like you is sometimes the difference between someone feeling stuck and someone really thriving and moving forward. So it is being able to also give women all around the world access to women like you. So,
That's very kind of you. That's very kind of you. But I'm sure I gain more than I give. I am positive. Linda, I'm very aware it's time to close this up, but I will always say to our guests, is there something that we should have said in this conversation that we haven't said yet? And we use that as our way to finish up.
Yeah, I will just say that even though my focus is certainly on supporting women in leadership all over the world, the same principles and practices that you and I discussed are equally applicable to men in leadership. And
Yes.
I don't want to in any way exclude men from the conversation. It is my purpose and my passion to ensure that women have access to the same resources and tools and opportunities and benefits that men do, but absolutely in the support of men in leadership, not in conflict with them, but in community with them. So I probably needed to clarify that, but Carrie, what an unbelievable conversation, because again, you are such a powerful leader, and every single one of your platforms, every single one of your episodes, I think is curated with this same sense of purpose, helping leaders thrive, which I'm so grateful for. Thank you.
I've had an absolute blast. Thank you very much, Linda. For listeners, if you've loved our conversation, for crying out loud, give us a little bit of love and pass it on to your colleagues, your family, your friends. There might be someone you know who's trying to get that big idea off the ground. And this community would be incredible. You know, we are so close to each other now. It's one of the things that I have loved in the last few years. I feel like I'm an international traveler because I can get to somewhere very, very quickly. But, you know, we're not alone in this. And I think that's the biggest lesson of all of us. We don't have to be alone. We don't have to do it alone. We can pick and take what we like, but we also need to contribute. And I think that's the biggest gift of all of us, is what we give to others. So listeners, I'd love you to have a look at Linda's LinkedIn profile. Linda, have you got an easy website address? I think you do.
Yes, it's the name of the organization, LeadHERship Global, LeadHERshipGlobal.com. Or you are welcome to find us on LinkedIn or find me on LinkedIn. And if you drop me a note, I will absolutely respond, normally same day. So thank you so much, Carrie, for the opportunity.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. It's been wonderful, Linda. Thank you so much again. Listeners, you know you are precious and your thriving matters. So go gently, but have a blast at the same time. Make sure you have a little bit of fun. Find the joy in your day. I'm Carrie Benedette, and this is my podcast.